All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast, episode 51.
Yeah.
We are half a decade old, century. I don't know what words are anymore. We're over half that.
I mean, if you take off the one, it's half a decade. You're right, but 51, so we're half a
No,
century.
you have a century. Half a decade's 5.
Yes.
Well, I guess that's yeah. That's what you meant.
Drink your coffee. You haven't had enough.
Oh, I've been up for so long today. This is Snickerdoodle coffee with white chocolate raspberry creamer. I don't know what I'm drinking. It just tastes amazing. Anyways, welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast. I am your host, Frantic. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host,
Grunt.
And we are here to talk about video games.
And junk.
All right, so before we get on to anything, we have a very special episode today. It's going to be a lot of fun. One, for starters, slightly newer format in the video form. If you have yet to watch us on video and you've listened to all 50 podcasts up until this point, you should really chime in from now on, because I'm going to try to make it a little more interesting. Not by much, but just enough to where it's not just boring scrolling, if we're usually talking about something more than that. If you're watching this live, you don't know what's coming, but if you're watching it or listening to it after you saw the title, you know exactly what's coming. So I swapped up the format so we can do this a little better than the last time we did one of these, which is a top 5. Keep you on your toes, exactly. So anyways, new little format. We're going to start. I'm going to pop things in and out instead of just having it always on screen to make it a little more uniform. So learn it as you go, I guess, is the best way to put it. But anyways, let's get advertising out of the way. And advertising is self-promotion. Let's start off watching it live. I'm going to change it up. Normally I say Twitter first, but I'm going to keep you on your toes. It's going to be the theme today.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this.
So, if you want to watch us live, head to twitch.tv/Frantic Talks. All one word. You can catch us live every Saturday, usually, at 3 p.m. Eastern, usually. Normally the times either changes or we just don't have it. As in like the 3 o'clock. We've only ever done the podcast on a different day than a Saturday, like once, I think. So.
Yes. Yes, we did it on a Sunday once.
Yeah, we did it on a Sunday once, and
I don't remember
why.
Yeah, I don't remember why. I think it was because it was right after E3, and you had something going on the original Saturday, that Saturday. So we moved it. So we could have a longer episode, too. I think when we originally started recording these, long before we had the fancy video format, we recorded the very first episode on either a Thursday or a Friday.
Yeah, it was shortly after Halo 5 came out.
Yes.
And then we set it in stone. So I do want to make a note. The background noise you're hearing, Grunt just has people over. How dare he have a social life?
Oh, my God. Right?
Either way. Shame on you. So we're going to apologize for that just for now. Either way, Grunt's making gestures with a muted mic at the moment. Let's move on.
The shame bell.
Oh, the shame bell. Okay. Anyways, I should keep going. Like I said, twitch.tv/Frantic Talks every Saturday at 3 p.m. normally, Eastern, normally. Beyond that, you can check out the video versions if you head to youtube.com, search up Frantic Talks, hit the subscribe button. You will never miss a podcast. You'll never miss a Sunday show where I talk about music and other random things. Actually, it's just music. Beyond that, Twitch, I already said Twitch. Twitter, because it has a very similar part of the word. Twitter.com/FranticJ3 / Spartan ONYX, Spartan all one word. Those are our handles. You can hit us up. Continue the conversation as usual. Also at Frantic_Talks. If you don't have either of us in mind and just want to yell at the Frantic Talks account, we will see it, I promise. We usually have some good conversations with our listeners. So, that being said, I will probably mention it again, but I definitely want to hear your guys' top 5 that we have in store, because I'm really interested in that. I got a lot of comments on my Facebook status when we get to that point. I'll mention those later. Either way.
I do remember seeing something like this.
Yeah. You can head over to frantictalks.com if you have exhausted every other out, because that's where all these links are. You can click into a podcast. You can find the YouTube video, the Twitch link, all of that fun stuff. Subscribe on iTunes if you ever want to get in on this awesomeness that is this podcast for the long haul. You can do it all there. Magic.frantictalks.com. We do a lot of Magic the Gathering articles. We did not get another article out since the last episode. Some stuff came up with personal families of the people that are writing for me. Nothing worrisome, just things. So that's all I'll say at that point. Then I think,
I was going to say, shame on you. You guys should start ringing the shame bell and take the walk of shame. But then you just had to say that, and it just would have made me seem like a jerk. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Clever.
think the only other thing we need to say is facebook.com/Frantic Talks. All one word. Post a lot of the same stuff as well. That is on Twitter. That is on the Frantic Talks website. So, like I said, the best option, search up Frantic Talks or head to frantictalks.com. That's where you'll find all that information and more. Ooh, fancy indeed. I don't know why I just keep looking over at my screen over here on the left. I'm just like staring at this really cool picture I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. And it's nothing special. I'm just staring at it because I don't make eye contact when I talk for some reason. I don't know why. It's really weird. Anyways,
all right.
Advertising out of the way, Grunt, how was your week?
Pretty boring, I'd say, actually. Most of it has been spent playing Skyrim, Destiny, a little bit of Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which I'm pretty excited about. Derp Trap is amazing, by the way.
Derp Trap, oh my god. We have, I guess I'll let you keep going and we'll talk about that, because I'll talk about what we did too.
So, you picked up Borderlands the Handsome Collection from GameStop, or wherever it was.
Yep.
We were able to get a copy of it for our friend Freak Show, and we've been playing through it this past week when you've been around.
Yeah.
Him and I have also been playing it too, but whatever. It's
naturally,
yeah.
I imagine that would happen, and I was okay getting it for you guys because I know. I just assume when I'm not there, you guys play games together 100% of the time. I know that's not true, but that's what I assume. So I figured, here's another game if they're getting stale.
I mean, you'd be pretty right, actually. So.
Well, there you go.
So pretty much the only time when I'm not playing a game with him is if I'm playing something else with Grunt Dad that he doesn't own. He is in Freak Show, or I'm playing Magic. So, and it's kind of hard to play a card game with a console. I mean, they have Magic Duels on the console, but whatever. You know, when I play physical cards, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
I can't multitask. I'm lucky I'm barely able to do this podcast.
Yeah, I'm not very good at multitasking either, if I'm being honest. But in our favor, and in all fairness, the human body and mind was not meant to multitask.
Exactly.
Just so you know.
Exactly.
If you ever watch Parks and Rec, there's a line that Ron Swanson says, "Don't half-ass two things, full-ass one thing." There you go.
That's amazing.
That's a real line.
That's amazing. But yeah, him and I started our own new characters for that, so we would play through those. So we would keep our progress from the playthrough you were in with us separate. But anyways, going back to the names form, we decided, as you normally do, name the save file, or basically give your character a name, basically. So I'll let you tell them yours. I was sitting there. We all decided to play as Claptrap in the pre-sequel, which is amazing. I would highly recommend it, by the way.
Yeah. It's really dumb.
It's amazing. But anyways, we decided to give our characters names, and I'm like, what am I going to name mine? And that's usually something I have problems with. I lack creativity in that department. So I'm just like, you know what? I know how they name Claptrap units. Like Claptrap is CL4P-TP or TR4P, whatever. I've seen it both ways. So I'm just like, you know what? Because Claptrap is a dumb robot, essentially. Sorry, Claptrap fans.
He is.
I'll just name him Derp Trap. So he's D3RP-TP.
Which was very funny. I quite enjoyed that. And what did Freak Show name his? Because he loves his puns. And I remember it was a pun. I just don't remember off the top of my head what it is.
Well, I don't know how it's possible, but a robot
I think I remember it.
Clap.
Yep, the clap. Trap.
Yes.
Yup.
I don't know how that's possible. That's something I probably don't ever want to know. But, yeah.
It's like some weird virus or something that...
Yes.
It's like a Trojan. And my character, due to also lack of creativity and only having like 40 seconds to name him, is Trap Clap.
I don't know. That's pretty in its own right.
I didn't use the numbers. I just flip-flopped the name. I couldn't think of anything funny at the time, and I still haven't thought of anything funny, though I have not been dedicating much of my time thinking to that, but it was quite funny.
Yes.
So as of right now, we are all roughly level 8 or 9, somewhere in there.
9. 9
yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I think I have like no room left in my experience bar. I just haven't dinged yet. We are, ding. We're at level 9, just got into Concordia, and yeah. done a couple of quests. So yeah, that's where we're at in the pre-sequel.
Pretty much about it. Not too far in, really.
No, not at all.
Maybe 3-4 story missions in.
Yeah, we played for about 3 hours or so, maybe a little longer, I think. So that's about how far we've gotten into it. Yeah. So that'll be fun to keep playing. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's funny because like 2-3 days before you decided to buy the Handsome Collection, I'm like, I really want to play Borderlands.
I'm glad I initiated that.
Well, I mean, I was eventually going to do it. I was going to break down and do it, but it's like, okay, it's happening now.
Yeah, I was when I find so. Are you done with your week? Because I'll continue this story. I don't know if you have anything else to add. Okay, I didn't want to like just tangent off on my own, but so for my week, beyond Borderlands, 2 very important things happened. Well, not necessarily 2 important things. Just one thing happened, and then the other thing is what I was doing most of the week, which was playing Pokemon Omega Ruby. I've gotten like 6 badges. I think I'm close to the Elite Four. But the other thing was I finally got my fucking Solar Mantle in Destiny. Holy shit, that elusive fucking cloak. I got it. So anyone who was had a bet on how long it would take, I got it. I want to say, what day did I get that? Monday, I think.
I think it was Monday because you decided to hop on for a few minutes. Was that a Monday? Yeah, it was Monday. Because I wasn't able to play with you on Tuesday when you got on for reset. But yeah, it was Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We did the last Nightfall on all of our characters from the week before, and then you got a skeleton key to drop, and you're like, we're going to go do this.
Basically, every time I got a skeleton key, we do that fucking strike, and it took forever. And I got it. And then Freak Show asked me the question, what are you going to go after next? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been after this goddamn cloak for a long time now, and I finally got it, so I don't know what else I want. I don't know anything in the game that I truly want. I mean, there's an exotic helmet I want for the Celestial Nighthawk, which makes Golden Gun absurd, but that's not something I can just kind of get the stuff I need and go roll for it. It's like, I really will take a long time to get it. So I wanted to pick a more realistic goal of, I know how to get this, like maybe ranking up a faction package. That'll get me it. So maybe I focus on that. I found this really cool weapon that the Vanguard Quartermaster was selling, the Angel's Advocate, and it had a halfway decent roll, and I'm already falling in love with the gun because it's like the multi-tool, but not as good as the multi-tool, but it doesn't take up your exotics. So yeah, I'm able to use the Iron Gallahorn and this multi-tool clone that has a little... There's a few significant differences with it, I will not lie, but it rolled with explosive rounds, which is one of my favorites.
Explosive rounds.
And the 2 perks that it rolled with, I think, was Rodeo and something else, but it's essentially if I string a couple precision headshots, my reload speed is hilarious, and then after I reload, I get a bonus damage. So it basically, if I get a couple precision kills, I reload really fast, and then I'm able to shoot out some really good damage until I have to reload again.
Like Rodeo and Outlaw, because I know Outlaw when you get a precision kill, that increases your reload speed, which is
Outlaw.
Amazing on the Palindrome I have.
Oh, geez, I bet that's great.
Oh, I love that thing. That's probably my favorite hand cannon, if not weapon right now in the game.
Nice. So I actually really like this Angel's Advocate, so I didn't have anything on the mind that I wanted to get. So when I was looking through trying to find cool different things that would roll really well, I remembered how much fun I had in Borderlands with like certain stuff dropping. And while I was on break for lunch on like Monday or Tuesday, it was Monday, so we got the cloak on Sunday. Because I know I bought the game on Monday. Either way.
All right.
That's just how it works.
That's probably it.
Either
I all the same, man.
Yeah, basically. So I was just thinking about how much fun I had in Borderlands rolling for different weapons and finding different stuff and all the randomness in there. So it was just like, oh, cool, I can relive that with them. And I know Grunt has it already, so we just had to get a copy for Freak Show, which wasn't too much of a hassle. So it was a good choice because I really looked forward. We played on Wednesday. I was really looking forward to it. Like I watched Let's Plays at work of it while I was waiting to get off.
Man.
I was really excited.
Man. I cannot wait until we go through the Dragon Keep DLC because we've already agreed to open up the certain chests. And I think I mentioned this on one of our podcasts prior to this, how
self-imposed challenges.
Yep, self-imposed challenges. Open up a chest and you roll a d20. Depending on how you roll, you either open the chest one way or the other. So, so we've already kind of started that because legendary weapons that have dropped, or really nice weapons that have dropped, we have. Oh, my camera just cut out there for a second.
Yeah, I caught that too, but you're good.
Shame on you. We already have rolled for a couple things that we were like, hey, I want that. No, I want that. No, I want that.
Yeah, we've done that a few times. Whenever we open up a chest and there's a bunch of stuff, it's like, all right, who gets first pick?
Yeah.
So that's been really nice. And we have started duping really high level stuff. So I feel like the roll is insignificant when you can do that. So I figure we won't dupe too much more. But
every time I've duped so far, too, I've had issues reconnecting with the game. So granted, it could be Xbox Live issues, but I don't know.
Could be. Okay. Well, that's basically our week. Fun as always, playing games together. That's kind of what we do. So let's briefly look to the future. Well, do I want to do that first? No, I'm going to do the other one first. Let's look at what happened this past week. What game came out this past week that may or may not have been a big release, Grunt? I don't know. Refresh me.
I know.
Ooh, what?
What is Resident Evil 7?
What is Resident Evil 7? And when you said that, I turned my browser on the screen and it didn't pop up. I, for some reason, am having issues. There it is. It showed up. Yay. Open Broadcaster, which is what we use to stream, by the way, for some reason does not like when I use browsers and try to screen cap them. I don't know why. If someone knows, let me know. Either way, Resident Evil 7 came out this past week. 2 hilariously good critic scores and mixed user scores. And I feel like I know why that is, but either way, I think it's a game to get. I'm not a fan of survival horror, but I know most of my friends who really liked Resident Evil 7 love it. Sorry, not liked Resident Evil 7. They like Resident Evil in general, and have not liked the recent stints they've done, like 5 and 6, and Raccoon City and all those weird ones.
Oh god, don't remind me of Operation Raccoon City.
And they said they love this game, and I think it's a good step for them. I think when it first got spoiled and we were talking about it, like Silent Hills isn't going to be a thing anymore, so something's got to take its place. And only natural that they do.
From what
Resident Evil does.
I don't know how horrific in that aspect that Silent Hills was, because I never played it. I really never even paid too much attention for it because I couldn't play it. I didn't own a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't really. So it's interesting to see Resident Evil possibly step up and maybe take that. Mm-hmm. I've seen a few clips that my friends have on Xbox Live have taken from the game, and man, it looks very interesting. I've been looking for a good horror game to possibly check out. Outlast has been the closest thing I've come to that, and I haven't actually played through it. I did a hour and a half speed run, because why not? I got a lot of achievements from that, so I'm okay.
I need to do that either way.
So I'm curious to play through Outlast the normal way and maybe check out Resident Evil 7 at some point, because it looks really good. I've seen, like I said, clips, and I do get stabbed in, I think, the first minute in the game, Freak Show told me. So that's, needless to say, has piqued my interest.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one to check out if you're even remotely into the horror genre. The only horror games I've ever played were Amnesia, The Dark Descent, Slender, and there's probably one more that I can't even think of, and I've never been a fan of them. I'm not a fan of horror in general. Not to say I can't say a game's good or not based off of that. I just don't enjoy them. I think Resident Evil 7 is definitely gonna be awesome. I remember watching Silent Hill PT or whatever, which was playable teaser, if anybody didn't know what that was. Oh my god, that was terrifying. I did not play it. I sat in a room with a couple of friends. It was my buddy's basement. It was pitch black at 2 a.m, and they're playing this, and it freaked me the fuck out. So I understand why everyone was upset it didn't happen. But this is the next best thing from what I understand. May not be as scary, but it's definitely Resident Evil in the most Resident Evil way. So I would definitely check it out if you're into that kind of thing. Especially you, Grunt. If you need a new one, I'd go for it.
Oh, yeah. Plus, the last Resident Evil movie just came out, I think, Friday?
Yeah.
Yesterday?
I have watched those, but that's more because they're video game movies and they're not necessarily scary.
Yeah.
They're more
action than they are horror. Which
I enjoy.
I'm okay.
I enjoy that. So now we're going to look to the future of games coming out here in February. So this is the picture I was talking about, everybody. It's a Horizon Zero Dawn screen cap. spoiler, Horizon Zero Dawn's on this list. There's a couple of different games that are coming out in February, and this looks like it's going to be listed. This is on Polygon if you want to check it out. Listed in order of release date. There's nothing I really want to talk about. I just want to kind of mention them because those are on our radar. Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm actually very interested in this one because it's coming to Android and iOS. And I've never really gotten to play Fire Emblem before. I just know of the characters from Super Smash Bros. So this is a very good one. Not a very good one. Fire Emblem is a very interesting one to me. It's a JRPG on your phone, for the most part. So I'm interested in that. I really have been wanting to play more phone-based games. So beyond that, we got Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World for the 3DS.
I just want to throw it out there. That's an interesting name.
That is a very interesting name. Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book, Windows PC. Don't even know what that is. It's apparently got an interesting. It's got an interesting battle system. That's all I know. WWE 2K17 for the PC. It's wrestling but for your computer. It's literally the title or subcaption. Not. Well, that's what they said. That's what they said on Polygon. Not WWE's official statement. I wish it was though.
Hey,
Neo for PlayStation 4. What?
Hey, we're 2K. We're releasing this. We're porting this game to the PC. It's wrestling for your PC.
I really wish that was their slogan. Anyways, Neo for the PlayStation 4 looks like a samurai game. I don't even know. It's reminiscent of what is that? Dynasty Warriors. Just the art style.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it'll actually be that, but anyways. Beyond that, For Honor, and our friend Freak Show has said he did not like For Honor, the demo. Either way, this is coming out. This is one of those big ones that's entirely based upon the combat system. It's supposed to be a really good sword fighting combat system. Although,
from what he said, the controls sound really weird and clunky.
Yeah, convoluted even.
Yes, because you basically you block with one thumbstick and you attack with the other. So it sounds like it's going to be the noob strategy in most fighting games. You get into either you're constantly attacking your opponent or you're waiting for your opponent to stop attacking so you can let go of the block button and then counterattack, basically. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, to say the least, based on what he has told us.
Yeah, I'd like to see how it ends up. My buddy was really excited for that. Anyways, Sniper Elite 4.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that's the Sniper Elite series is pretty cool. Having not played it and wanting to play it, I think I might look into this one. It's a different type of first-person shooter. Still a first-person shooter, but nonetheless a little different. Sniping, clearly, but that was one of my favorite things to do in shooters. So
instead of aiming and pointing your sniper rifle at someone and killing them, you have to counter for bullet drop and wind speed and wind. So it's very, very fun game to play. Last time I played, I think it was Sniper Elite 2. That was a fun game. I liked it. Plus, I think it's X-ray kill cam is brutally cool.
Yeah, I'd say gun simulator in a way too, because you have to. It's a more realistic shooting game. So, anyways, beyond that, we have Berserk and the Band of the Hawk. Never heard of it. It's apparently coming to PlayStation and Windows PC. The legendary manga series Berserk is getting its own Dynasty Warriors spinoff. Well, there you go.
Boom.
Halo Wars 2. The demo has been going on for a bit now. I have not played the demo. I have wanted to, but at this point, I'm just going to hold off. There are too many games in my backlog that I need to get to. And either way, I'm excited for it. I enjoyed the first one. It was a lot of fun. I like RTS games, and I like Halo, hence the shirt I'm wearing. So I feel like this is a good mix. I played the first one, again, like I said. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to talk too much about it, because I don't know enough about it. Either way. Anything to say on that, Grunt?
I mean, I like the first game. I may pick this one up when it comes out and down a little bit more in price, but it's just...
Yeah.
I'm like you. I have other games on my backlog that are more pressing. Like, I want to play through Dishonored.
I do too. I have Dishonored 2 lying around waiting to be played. So that's the biggest one on my list I need to get to, and I just keep forgetting to. So all right, and there's
here's the thing. Who do you think is going to finish Dishonored 2 first, you or me? because I never finished the first game. So I want to play through it and then Dishonored 2.
All right, Frantic Talks listeners, we are going to do our first bet. Please tweet at Frantic Talks, FranticJ3, and at Onyx Spartan who you think will finish Dishonored 2 first. And keep in mind, Grunt, Onyx Spartan on Twitter, has to play the first one as well. I get to play video games maybe for a total of 5 hours a week. It's about where it sits. So
you don't get that much playtime. I have more playtime than you, but I have to basically play through 2 games.
And I shit you not, I will gift you a $5 gift card if you are correct in picking it.
There you go.
Let's put it that way.
There you go.
Now, if like 20 people come in and say this person will do it and that person ends up, I can't shell out $100. So the first person to tweet, I'm just saying, yeah, either I'll do a random drawing or I'll do like the first couple people to tweet. We'll see what happens. But either way, $5 gift card is legitimately at stake here on Xbox Live. Who will play through Dishonored 2 and finish it before the other one? Me or Grunt? Let us know on Twitter. I'm excited. Anyways, other 2 games that are coming out. Lego Worlds, which is Minecraft Lego, and Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. Very interesting hunter-gatherer RPG with like mech salt stuff. So it looks really cool, but it's only for PlayStation, which we don't have. Either way, I'll pay attention to when that comes out. That's at the end of February, like the last day of February, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the 28th, since we are not in a leap year. So I want to get on to our top 5 because we've used up a decent amount of time talking about this other random stuff. So
okay, let's go. Boom.
All right, so our top 5. Let me get the browser off screen. Man, I'm enjoying that. We have chosen our top 5 sequels. Now, the rules are as follows. Number 1, they don't necessarily have to have 2 in the name. They just have to have been sequels, so the second game in some series. Beyond that, we limited it to 5, of course, with 3 honorable mentions, because I had like 9 or 10 that I wanted to do, and it's not going to have time for a top 10. So with our honorable mentions, we're just going to run through them, maybe make a sentence or 2 about them, and then we'll get into the top 5, starting with me, and we'll go back and forth. So, I'll get through my honorable mentions, which I have here in a little notepad. That didn't pop up on screen, did it? No, okay. I was really worried for a second there.
Spoilers!
So, my honorable mentions are basically games that I absolutely know are amazing, but I never really got to play, except for one of them. So, that's a weird mention. Arkham City is number 8 on my list, whatever. Arkham City is a really good Batman game. It was Batman Arkham Asylum was awesome, and City was a great sequel, and I watched it. I watched so much gameplay of it, but I never really played it myself. I loved watching it, I just never played it. Followed by Fable 2. Fable 2 is another one that I got to play a little bit of, not much, but I know it's an amazing game. I watched enough to know about that, and I really enjoy the Fable series. And my other honorable mention is Borderlands 2. That one I've played a lot of. I just could not rank it higher than my top 5, and I hope you all understand that. There were other games I wanted to include also that I just remembered one off the top of my head. I told Grunt Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was one of them, but Super Smash Bros. Melee I completely forgot about. So, whatever. Those are all just random words I'm saying now. Grunt, what are your honorable mentions before I just start naming off amazing games?
Well, I mean, that'd be fine with me. But
the Frantic Talks podcast where we just shout out names of video games.
This game's awesome. This game's awesome. That game is awesome. That game sucks. Wait a minute, that's not how we're doing this.
We could totally do a podcast of that. Just like someone types in the chat box, a video game. Awful. Get out of here. Amazing. That's the whole thing.
Oh my god, that
would be a lot of fun.
Keep that idea. Ooh.
That's in the back of my mind. Anyways, what are your honorable mentions, Grunt?
Okay. Flashback gives me a good idea what you just said. Talk to you about it later.
Okay.
First honorable mention goes to Just Cause 2. It's a good open world game. I like it. Very tongue in cheek and humorous storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not too bad. I liked it. I liked it mainly because it's a basically go anywhere, do anything, cause as much trouble as you want game.
All right, cool. Good call.
My other honorable mention, I only have 2 of them. Was
One
Destroy
of them,
All Humans 2.
Oh man,
the original Xbox. Probably very politically incorrect.
Oh, absolutely. That game is just about chaos. Let's be real.
Yes, but it's just like you said. It's chaos. It's fun, Alien invades Earth, tries to take over, I think, the United States government during that one.
I truly don't remember. I played it so long ago. Back when I didn't
Yes.
really pay attention to storylines when I played.
Exactly.
So.
So yeah, I really like that game. It was humorous. Like I said, though, very politically incorrect. So if you're not one for that, you might want to stay away from it.
Yeah. All right.
I had another one on here, but I axed it. So.
I mean, I mentioned like 3 others that I didn't even have on the list. So if you want to mention it, go ahead.
I mean, I had Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. So it's 2-1.
It's definitely one I considered because I got a lot of playtime out of Call of Duty 2. So, all right, so we're going to hop into our top 5 here. I want to say, I forgot to mention that these are our personal favorites. So if yours isn't listed on here, don't scream at us. Also, favorites doesn't mean best. So if you think my number 1 is awful, then that's your opinion. I think it's great.
What is awful? No, it's horrible.
It's hard to sit here and say that like a top 5 list should just be all defining. So keep that in mind while listening to this. I'm sure you'll agree with most of our picks, but everyone's number 1's going to be different. We're doing it as in personal favorites. So, all right, my number 5 is going to come on screen. Yeah, I did it. All right, cool. Number 5 goes to Portal 2. It has 2 in the title. All of mine have 2 in the title, except for one of them. We'll get to it. Portal 2 was actually the first Portal game I played. I did not play the first one until after I had played Portal 2. And Portal 2 took the first game and just amped it up, added cool new mechanics, including the gels that let you bounce around or go quicker. And it also...
And repulsion gel? Oh my god.
Yep, those added in. One of my favorite things about the game is actually some of the Easter eggs, especially Ratman. I find him very interesting because of just all the things he implies about aperture science. Also, I love the humor with Wheatley. I also love GLaDOS being just like cold-hearted and hating you for killing her in the first game, which I had to go back and play the first game to understand what I had done wrong and why she hated me.
I'm a potato.
She turns into a potato. That bit's also hilarious. Portal 2, I played a lot of it. I played co-op a couple of times with some friends. The co-op system, or the co-op was a lot of fun and very challenging. And I like that you were just 2 robots and you could like kill each other and GLaDOS would laugh. And it was just, the humor is very unique and fun. And I quite enjoyed Portal 2. So I would definitely say that is in my top 5. Because it's number 5, it's a great game. So
I am super upset that I completely forgot it altogether.
Well, I'm sure the people will understand.
Listening to this now, you guys have no idea how much I raged inside, really, slightly outside, about totally forgetting that game for exactly the reasons you mentioned. So
yeah, that's a lot of fun. So Grunt, what's your number 5?
My number 5 goes to Mercenaries 2.
It popped up.
Yes, good. Party, yay. Like my honorable mention, Just Cause 2, it's open world, go do whatever you want, wherever you want. You know, you see a building, you can go blow it up. Why not? Mm-hmm. I'd like it more than Just Cause 2 because it has a more serious storyline to it. Plus, you can buy airstrikes. That's always fun.
That's fair.
Towards the end, when I was playing it crashed a lot, so I'm a little upset about that. But overall, it's just a very enjoyable game. I spent, I don't know how many hours playing that.
I never got to play it, honestly, but it was one that I had thought about buying because a friend had played it at the time and said it was awesome. I just never got to play it.
It was. If they could combine Just Cause and the Mercenaries franchise into one new IP altogether, I would be in heaven for it.
Seems fair.
Yes. So that's my number 5 pick.
Mercenaries 2 sounds pretty good. Okay. Well, we are moving on to my number 4. This one's pretty awesome in my opinion, and I have a lot of explaining to do. At number 4 comes Guitar Hero 2. Okay. Let's take a trip down memory lane to 13-year-old me. I think it was 13-year-old me. I had just learned how to play the guitar about a year ago because I got it for Christmas, and then it turns out some video game comes out where you can play guitar. Now, I was an elitist at the time and thought, why would I play fake guitar when I could play real guitar? Well, someone bought it for me for the next Christmas. I played a little bit of it, and then I played a lot of it. And then I didn't stop playing this game because it was amazing to be able to play the songs I enjoyed listening to and finding new music I liked. And this is arguably, I'd say it definitely is, the game that kind of shot it into the forefront. No one really knew about Guitar Hero when it first came out. It seemed weird. But then the second one, it just got a huge following. I remember it just kind of coming out of nowhere. I was like, there's a second? This is the second one? What's the first one? It was just so good. I remember doing playing through all the songs, playing through it again, trying to 5-star every song on the difficulties to get the unlockable guitars and all that fun stuff. It was just so much fun.
Oh, the unlockable guitars, that was always fun.
And all the bonus songs and having friends over and making your own band and playing it. And it was simple. And then when Rock Band and all that stuff came out and it all kind of hit a critical mass at a certain point, we tend to remember it as that. But I remember the good old days when it came out and it was like, wow, this is awesome. And then everyone jumped on board and that's where everything went wrong, I think. But Guitar Hero 2, man, I played so much of it.
Oh, yes.
And if I had to brag about one thing, it's that I can beat Through the Fire and Flames on Guitar Hero 3 on Expert because I have the achievement to prove it. So I'm telling you, I played a lot of this game.
That's very impressive.
So, all right, so that was my number 4.
Isn't that supposed to be the hardest song in the game?
It's debated.
Debated.
Yeah. In Guitar Hero 3 specifically, I would say it's the hardest, but others would say that maybe another song might be harder. Just depends on your point of view. But that was the hardest one for me to beat, that's for sure.
It's quite impressive, actually.
Thank you. I'm fishing for compliments. Anyways, Grunt, what's your number 4? Your number 4 and best sequels.
My number 4 and best sequels. My second 4? How's that work? My fourth,
I don't know.
My fourth, whatever. I'm thinking too much about this, man.
Number 4 on your list. Let's go with that.
Number 4 on my list goes to BioShock 2.
BioShock 2.
Yes. No party for the thing popping up?
Oh, it's been popping up fine because this isn't a browser. It's just an image. It's working fine, as expected.
All right, so we should throw the party when the browser works, is what you're saying.
Yes, when the browser works and everything is good and fine and dandy, we should be fine.
Okay. Anyways, BioShock 2. I think it's more so the overlooked game from the BioShock series because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I see them talking about the first game or, Infinite, which is my personal favorite from the series. But BioShock 2 is good in its own rights. It had a very amazing story. You got to play as one of the big daddies from the game.
That's what I was going to say. Was this one was different because it wasn't... You weren't in... I'll talk in a minute. Just keep going.
It also, I believe, introduced multiplayer to the series, which they kind of got rid of later on, but in Infinite. But that was something that was interesting, and the multiplayer tied in a little bit with the story. So it's not like it was just, oh, you're going over here and you're shooting that person. You're going over there shooting that person. It tied into the story, so it kind of had a reason. You had a reason to go shoot that person.
Yeah.
I liked it. And that's probably... I really do like Infinite, so... But
what I will say
is amazing in its own right.
That's good, because the BioShock series itself is really good. I've played the first one, not the second or third.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, when I tried to pick it back up and play it again, for some reason on my PC, it didn't work right. The sound screwed up or something. But that's a story for a different day. What I was gonna say is BioShock 2, I think, is not as highly coveted as others for a few reasons. The reason the first one was so amazing was because of the idea that they presented of an underground quote-unquote utopia that went horribly wrong because of various reasons. So this vast new world no one's ever seen before, and the expansive world, the kind of scariness of it because you just don't know what you're doing. It's a survival in a couple aspects, and that made it terrifying but fun. With BioShock 2, you got to be, like you said, a big daddy, and it was a little different. Not to say it wasn't a challenge or anything, it's just that we already knew about the world. We knew the world of Rapture. We knew a lot about it at this point. We had played enough of the first one to know. So it took away the exploration and had to be more focused on gameplay, and that's where it would be debated whether or not it's good or not. Having not played it, I won't comment, but I think that's the biggest thing, is that the newness of a whole entire new world and expansive area to explore was gone. Right. Not to say entirely, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it covered a little bit different timeline. Maybe 10 years after the first game.
Yeah.
in the game universe timeline, not real world time.
Right, it came out like 2 years later.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a little different. You know, you had a different. It obviously had a different story.
Hmm.
But I tend to agree that it's like the interest of the series was a little down at that point.
Yeah. So yeah, Bioshock 2 is Grunt's number 4, and I might say that's probably a good pick. I do say so myself. It's kind of like repeating words now.
All right. What about your number 3?
My number 3. So my top 3 I have played so goddamn much that it was hard to pick. Number 3 for me is Star Wars Battlefront 2. You might remember back on Battlefront, the new one came out, and I was just like harping like, oh, this seems like it's going to be great. I played so much Battlefront 2. It's only natural that this gets picked as one of my favorite sequels. I played a lot of the first one, and then I got to play the second one, and the things they added into it. Now, keep in mind, this is before the 360 time, so a lot of things with first and third person shooters were still being defined. The first one was good. They had little issues here and there with it. I mean, the AI was good, not bad. You couldn't sprint when you called in Jedis and stuff. Like, you could have a Jedi accompany you at certain points depending on the game mode you played. They were just invincible, and they could kill people. And it was like, if you saw them coming, you were done. But that's kind of how Star Wars worked, to be fair. Jedis were freaking ridiculous.
Still are.
They are. But then you get into Battlefront 2 and they let you play as the Jedis. You got to sprint, which sounds dumb, but it was awesome. It added in a couple more features with different game modes and actual story mode to kind of highlight what happened between episodes 3 and 4 in their own little way. And everything about it was just infinitely better. I played so much of it. You got to be a hero, which would be like Darth Vader or Obi-Wan or something, assuming you got enough kills fast enough or something like that. You could be one of 4 different troopers or whatever, but if you were doing well enough but you couldn't maybe be the hero, you unlocked extra classes. So if you're the separatists, you start off as like your droid shooting stuff, but then once you got high enough, enough kills, you could be the tumbler droid. I can't remember the name of it. Droideka. You could be that. So it added in elements to where it rewarded the people who were doing better with different classes to play as. And that sounds bad because it's like, oh, the better you are, the better stuff you get. But it was unique enough to where it challenged you and made you want to be better at the game. And it was one of the first, well, not one of the first, but one of the games that I didn't have Xbox Live at the time, and I really wanted Xbox Live, and it was the closest I could get because I could play against the hundreds of AI that seemed like they could be other people, but it wasn't. So that was me pretending I'm playing online, which
works.
It works in certain ways. So I quite enjoyed Battlefront 2. I played a lot of it, and I'm not upset with the new Battlefront game. I originally was. They've done enough to it that it works just fine, and they've announced a sequel, and I'm excited to see it. But this game definitely has my soft spot in my heart.
As it should, rightfully.
Rightfully. So, that was my number 3, Grunt. We're in the top 3. What's yours?
Going back to one of the first few games I actually played on the original Xbox is Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. So
I totally called this in my mind that this would be on here. Something from the Mech Assault series. I didn't know what the second one was called, but either way, continue.
You would be correct. I think the biggest reason I liked it is it had a good story. They improved tremendously on things like the controls and that from the first game. So, it felt better to play. They introduced more mechs and different mechs, which is always great. You obviously always want the newer and better stuff when you're standing in a basically 100-foot tall battle suit.
Yeah, you would want that.
I like the story for it. They left it open for a possible continuation, but it's just kind of died. I'm sad about that part. I really, really want there to be another one.
I want to play it, so I hope they do another one if they ever got a chance to.
Oh, I hope so.
I really hope
so. It was also the first game. The first Mech Assault game had it too, but I really didn't play it too much in that. because it wasn't until like, well, actually, yeah, it would have. It wasn't until the second game though, that I really played the multiplayer mode Grinder on there, which that is basically just firefight and horde mode back before it was cool.
Right.
So you would have, it was split screen, so you would have, two people, and you would have this selection of like 5 or 6 mechs in front of you when you first started, that you could go and decide, which one you want to be in. They had one or two from each class. I don't remember exactly, but you would go in there and you would fight rounds of enemies. It would start off with, you'd face one mech from the lowest class, and then it would build up to your most fiercest mech in like 5th or 6th round, whatever, where you would face like one assault class mech, which is the biggest and baddest ones you could get. And then when you got to that round, it would basically start over from the beginning, only it would throw in one mech from the lowest class, work its way back up that way, but you would also get another random mech thrown in there to fight against. So you could fight the lowest class mech and one of the assault class mechs in the 6th or 7th round, essentially. So it made it challenging. And it was fun because at one point you could have, if you got far enough, you could have 5 different mechs trying to kill you.
Wow.
So it was very challenging. I liked it. Really specifically for that.
Okay. Well, I mean, it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. I've only ever played one mech game, and that was at the yearly convention that comes to Columbus that I go to. They have this like mech game that they have pods that you sit in and control the mechs. And it's a lot of fun. It's just that's the only experience I've ever had with a Mech Assault type game, and I don't even think that's Mech Assault, like the title, but
Mech Warriors. That sounds something familiar.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was a lot of fun because you got to create your own name, and they'd call out your names based on your score, and you could have really cool names or something stupid, like one of my friends was the Amazing Phoebe. So it just depended. But either way, Mech Assaults are pretty cool, and I imagine that's probably a decent part of why Titanfall is so successful. So.
Titanfall will never live up to.
It'll never be.
It'll never be as good as Mech Assault was. Which is why I so badly want a new one.
I think it'd be a lot of fun if they got a new one. I mean, with how far games have come since the last Mech Assault game, I feel like it could be really interesting. So, Microsoft, if you're listening, come on.
Get to it.
All right, so going on to that was Grunt's number 3. I'm going to go on to my number 2 here. Grunt does not think that this should count. I will make my argument and let you guys decide. My number 2, I shit you not, is a sequel. Rocket League. In 2013, a video game known as Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars came out and wasn't really well known and wasn't that big of a game, but it was interesting. It was kind of like RC meets soccer. And then they released a sequel to it called Rocket League. And holy shit, did that blow up. Because it's an amazing game. I've talked about it before. I put this on my top list of games that came out last year because it technically came out for Xbox. We did that. We're allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do this. Rocket League's amazing, and if you aren't aware what it is, what I described earlier is pretty much it. It's RC cars meets soccer, but the ball explodes, and you can explode, and you have boost. And what really makes it fun beyond that initial concept is the advanced tactics of flying around doing aerials and maybe even trying out trick shots, stuff I haven't been able to do yet, but I have pulled off 1 or 2 really cool shots in the 50 plus hours I've put in on Steam and probably like 30 on Xbox. I love Rocket League, and I will always love Rocket League. I even watch. This is one of the only esports I truly watch and follow. So,
oh my god,
it's
things they do.
Oh my god, yeah. If you want to see some insane stuff, look up the RLCS Grand Finals from Amsterdam, also known as Landsterdam, because that's where they did a big LAN tournament with the biggest names. Yeah,
that's clever.
Watch some of that stuff. It is intense. It's insane. It's a lot of fun to watch. The commentary is pretty good. It's a lot better than some other esport commentary I've listened to. Every now and then I find myself wanting to mute it, not because they aren't good at commentating, but because I just don't enjoy video game commentary too often, which is really weird. But either way, It's a pretty awesome game. I would highly recommend it if you haven't played it already. So that's my number 2. I'll let you guys debate, as in you, the listeners, whether or not that's a legitimate sequel. I think it is because it changed. Well, honestly, from what it changed, it didn't do too much to change it, but it was a new release name in a series. So that should count.
All right. So since you let me have it for my 2016 Game of the Year awards, I'll let you have it for this.
There we go. I win.
Also, listeners have the final say in that.
That's fair. Let us know, guys. Also, if you pick my side, I'll give you that $5 gift card. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. That's cheating.
That's biased. Biased. I want to complain to a judge.
I am a Magic judge. Close enough.
How can I complain to the person that's biased, though?
You can. Yeah, I just won't listen. What's your number 2, Grunt?
Oh, my number 2 goes to Borderlands 2.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I mean, the game is hilarious. I love the banter for the characters and that stuff between all of them. It's really, really amazing going in there as a super powered character and fighting even stuff that's around your level and still wrecking it. So that's amazing. Mm-hmm. I've spent so many hours playing this game, and I'm going to spend many more hours here in the future playing it too. I just overall I like it. I really can't find a problem with it.
I mean, it was on my honorable mentions. It's really number 6 on my list, truly, because I wish I could include it, but I just enjoyed my other 5 games more. Either way, I really like Borderlands 2. I have to agree with you there. It's a really fun game. The art style, the humor, the characters, they're all memorable. It's a great game.
Yes, I remember. Go ahead.
I was going to say it improved upon the first game infinitely.
Immensely, yes.
So it's really hard. You know a sequel is good when you can't go back to the original because the sequel was so much better. Exactly. And I think this is one of those.
And I'm hoping they do that for Borderlands 3 when we get it. Gearbox.
Are you listening?
Oh, I was telling you the other night when we were first playing through it. At least I think you were there. I don't know. Freak Show was for sure. But I originally, when the first Borderlands game came out, I originally wasn't interested in it because I didn't like the cel-shaded art style that they used.
Yeah, I was there when you were talking about this.
And I'm like, the game looks cool, but I don't think I'm ever going to play that or any other game that come out in the style because I don't like the art style. One night, my dad came home with a copy after work of Borderlands 2, and I popped it in that night and played it, and it's like, wow, this is really, really fun. I like this game. So, going forward, I eventually got a copy of the original Borderlands and played it, and I'm like, this is fun, but man, Borderlands 2 is so much better. It goes back to what you said, where they immensely improved upon it from first to second.
Yeah.
So, I got so much enjoyment out of the game. And that's why it's pretty much why it's my second pick for best sequel, top 5 sequel, favorite sequel, whatever.
Favorite sequels, yeah. My story with I almost said Battlefront. Borderlands is it's slightly different, but in the same vein where I didn't give it a try truly, and when I did, I enjoyed it. When the first one came out, my friends in high school were talking about it and playing it. And I rented it, played it with them, and they power leveled me. They were like in the 40s. I just started, so they just took me to a higher level and started leveling me so I could play with them at their level. And I just had no fun sitting there farming experience and getting all this cool loot that I didn't know what to do with it. So I just didn't enjoy it and was like, this is dumb. And so I didn't play for another 4 years. The second one had come out by the time I played the first one. But my friends that I was hanging out with at the time, we were doing PC gaming. That's when I first started getting into it. And they were like, hey, you ever played Borderlands? And I was like, once. I didn't enjoy it. And they're like, that's wrong. We should play it because you will enjoy it. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. You like WoW. It's kind of similar in a sense. And I was like, oh, okay. Let's go for it. We sat down with a group of 4 people and easily spent a day or two in game, like 24 plus hours or whatever. Not an all-in-one sitting, just in general playing it, and I had a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun, and then I picked up the second one, which is the one we're talking about now, and played it with other friends through Steam, and that's where I mostly played it. Now, granted, I've never beaten a Borderlands game, which is why I did not include them on this list, because the only game technically on those lists you can't can't beat is Rocket League of my picks. Borderlands 2 I never beat. I have yet to beat a Borderlands game. My issue with it really, it's going to change. It's just my issue with it has always been I've felt the grind, and the grind has gotten to me by the time I get about halfway through it. It's just like, oh, I don't want to do 6 sides quests to get to the story mission. It's like, oh, I'm just tired of that. That's all. That's my only gripe with Borderlands, is that it just feels like too much of a grind. And what's really weird is I'm the guy who plays RuneScape. That's just not fair to say. So,
wow,
I know, right? It's not right.
That is quite the interesting statement there.
So, okay. With that being said, let's move on to our number 1. We're getting strapped on time here. If you hadn't guessed what our number 1 was going to be, not our number, my number 1 was going to be, and you hadn't even watched the video and looked at my freaking shirt as I get it into frame here. Halo 2. I should probably put that on screen. What am I doing?
You should do that.
There it is. Halo 2. Halo fucking 2. How did you not guess that, everyone? If you did,
would have guessed it.
If you're playing bingo at home, every mention of Halo 2, you know, it's like the free space. So, what is there to say about this game that hasn't been said? Is really my thought on it. I love this game. I've played infinitely more of this game than I have probably any other game that wasn't in the Halo series, like Halo 3. I probably played more Halo 3 just because I had more time to play it, and I had Xbox Live when I played Halo 3. But this game, it's like defined my childhood. And I understand it's not perfect. It has its flaws. Nostalgia wins the fight, though. I enjoyed every freaking second I played of this game. The glitches, the fun, LAN parties with friends. It was just truly amazing. And it's crazy to think that Bungie did this game in 8 months. They had 3 years to do it and scrapped their 2-year project of it and restarted, and only got 8 months into it when they released it. And that's amazing to me.
And it's probably one of the best Halo games out there, if you would ask the community. It would either be down to that or Halo 3.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I'm not going to add too much to that. So, I'm going to ask Grunt, what's your number 1?
This was a tough choice for me because I really love Borderlands 2. That was really leaning to be my favorite pick or top pick until last night. Then I swapped it with my original second choice for Halo 2 as well.
Oh, hey, look, it's back on screen. Wow, guys, look at this.
Wow.
Build up the suspense and then just crash it because everyone knows that this game's amazing.
It really is. If you look at it, it was one of the first few games that utilized the Xbox Live service because it was just being introduced at that time. So Halo 2...
I was going to say, I'd go on a limb and say it defined Xbox Live.
It easily did. Yes, it easily did. It was one of the only games that you could play around that time on Xbox Live, and it's what people wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they really did a good job with it. For the development time frame they had for it, it's a very good game. Like I said, if it's not Halo 3 that people are liking, it's Halo 2.
Then the last thing I'll add to this, because I mean, like I said, we could ramble on for hours about this. If I remember seeing a picture on the Halo subreddit that was called the Halo fan slider, and it was literally line up all the Halo games, just like Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, 4, and 5. And then apply this slider to it. It was a slider with 3 columns on it, and you just imagine it as like it fits for each game. And it said, the first one, amazing, genre defining. Second one, improved upon it in many ways and is amazing. Third one, they took different directions and it wasn't as good as the middle one. So apply that to any game in the sequence. So 1, 2, and 3. The first one, amazing, genre defining. Second one, oh my god, this is beautiful, it's amazing. Third one, really good, just not as good as the second one. Move the slider. Halo 2, amazing, genre defining. Halo 3, this is the best ever. Halo Reach, they took some different directions, but start on Halo 3 and you just keep going down the line and you can see how this applies to it. So it just really depends on where you started because it seems like whatever came afterwards was almost amazing. Oh, yes. But I don't know. I Halo 2 always has a spot in my heart as one of the best games ever. Hence why I have a t-shirt that I will never get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. So many hours spent playing System Link with friends.
Oh, yeah.
Capture the Flag on Zanzibar.
Oh, geez. We did a very infantile version of SWAT with magnums all the time, dude. It was amazing.
Man.
We did that on turf. It was amazing on turf to run around with no shield magnums, or to do get out of the map on every freaking map.
The only part I did not like about Halo 2 was legendary difficulty. Oh my god.
That is the one thing I will hold against it. Jesus Christ.
Nightmares about that.
And I guess we'll wrap it there. But I will say, if you like Halo and you haven't heard me say this before, COG Connected is a YouTube channel where this one guy goes hilariously in depth of the entire Halo series, and I'm talking 45 minutes to an hour for each game, which includes ODST, by the way. And he just released his Halo 5 in-depth discussion on his own personal channel, and dear God, I wish I could remember his name. My nose is itching, by the way, so if it looks like I'm picking my nose, it's just itchy. I'm sorry. Anyways, I've been doing that for the past 10 minutes, and I'm like, they probably think I'm picking my nose or something. COG Connected, search him up on YouTube, or search in-depth Halo discussion or whatever. There's a really good series. I promise you will love it, because he brings up very good points and tries to be objective as possible, and he nitpicks, so it does sound like he hates the games, but in reality he's just pointing out the real flaws with the games and trying to be objective even though he loves it. And I will say his favorite is Halo 2, because he's like me, where he just played it forever, except he actually got to play online. I didn't really get to play it online too much.
Yeah, I didn't have the internet for it back then.
Right. So he brings up a lot of good points, and he doesn't say Halo 4 or 5 is bad in any way. He just points out what the real problems with them were and why they alienated so many people. So he brings up very good points that I hadn't even thought about, and makes me at least appreciate Halo 4 and 5 for what they were, as games that, if you look at them without knowing what Halo was, they aren't bad. We just had an expectation of what Halo was for the past, when did it come out? 2012? The past 11 years, so.
Yeah.
Either way. That being said, we just hit our hour mark. Usually we don't go to an hour, but it's a top 5, and we want to talk about the games we like, so, I want to say, yeah. So for our next episode, we're going to hit episode 52, which means technically, if we didn't miss a single episode, it'd be a year old. So, special celebration, but not really.
It's going to be our sequel to our 1-year episode that we already had before. It was on our technical first year.
Yeah, which would have been 10 episodes ago on the true one, because our 42nd episode was our 1 year, I think.
Yeah, it was on the date it was near the date. It was like a day or two after the actual date that we recorded the first episode on.
Yep, and the first episode was a Halo 5 discussion, because it was like, we could write an article, but it'd be easier if we talked. So, little Frantic Talks podcast history there.
Yes.
Anyways, that being said, I want to do more top 5s as moving forward. We've done 2 other ones, right?
I have my notes here. I think so. Yeah,
we did soundtracks and one other one. I forget the other one.
Characters,
that's right. So the way the format has worked on here now, I like the setup we have, and it works a lot better for top 5. So I think moving forward, we'll probably try to do a little more frequently than normal, because the soundtracks one was in episode 30 or 20 something. It's been way too long.
It's been a while, yeah.
And since we've been literally just talking about the Nintendo Switch for the past 6 episodes, I feel like we should just start inserting our own information instead of throwing out news constantly. Because we're a news source second, an entertainment source first, so might as well entertain you instead of just mindlessly rambling about things. Also, the Nintendo Switch is confirmed 60 frames per second at 1080p in TV mode.
You're doing it again.
God damn it. See what I mean? So this could be more entertaining if we talk about these and get you guys involved. So like I said at the beginning, and I will say again now, tweet at us your favorite, your top 5 sequels, maybe 3 honorable mentions like we did. Like I said, it doesn't have to have a 2 in the title, but it would be a second game in a sequence of games, at least of 2. So I mean, I could make an argument for Red Dead Redemption, because that technically was a sequel to Red Dead Revolver, maybe in spirit, maybe not necessarily. Depends on how you look at it.
But then you have Red Dead Redemption 2 now.
Right, so that's the third game.
Third game, but the numbered sequel. It's like, oh god. Back to Rocket League.
So I expect to hear a bunch of different ones. I expect Resident Evil 2. I expect Dark Souls 2. I expect Super Smash Bros. Melee. All kinds of crazy stuff. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. So if you want to tell us that, hit us up. I am at FranticJ3 on Twitter. He is at Onyx Spartan. That's me. We got the pointing down. That's what's important. He is at Onyx.
Yeah.
Onyx Spartan. ONYX Spartan. All one word. Us total. The collaboration, everything is at Frantic_Talks, which is in the center of the screen there. Although there's no underscore. Well, maybe you could almost say that's a hidden underscore. Easter eggs in the Frantic Talks logo.
If there's space there, I don't know. Easter eggs. Oh god, top 5 Easter eggs.
Yeah, we can do top 5 Easter eggs. We were talking about doing top 5 hardest games, so we might do that next. We'll see.
I'll have a list for it this time.
Yeah, we actually. I said sequels. Grunt said sequels had been overdone, and then I was like, oh, we could do hardest games, and then I think I said let's do that, but maybe not. And we totally were building our own lists for 2 different top-down countdowns. So I literally made my list today, even though I kind of knew what it would be. But we totally had a miscommunication. We communicate fine here at Frantic Talks, guys. There's no issues.
No, not at all. No
All
issues
right.
at all.
At all. Twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word. You can catch us normally every Saturday, at 3 p.m. Eastern, normally. I had to throw normally in there because it changes. Which, if you follow us on Twitter, you'll find out if it changes. FranticTalks.com. This will have all the information you need to get in touch with us should you ever need to, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel, podcast, anything. It's all on FranticTalks.com. If you want to head over to YouTube, like I said, I'd more recommend going to FranticTalks.com, clicking a podcast, and clicking on the YouTube link of the video. Like, you know, when like the wheel stopped in my head, like between video and link. Thus we got Vink. I don't even know anymore, guys. Anyways, that basically does it. Just go to FranticTalks.com. You'll find everything you need. If not, tweet at me and I'll send you a link. I don't even want to talk anymore.
All right, well.
Go play Halo 2, go play Rocket League, go play Mech Assault, do all that, and tell us how it was. And you have 24 hours. Also, remember, if you can guess who gets to finish Dishonored 2. Dude, I can't fucking talk. Whoever finishes Dishonored 2 first, make the bet. I will give you a $5 gift card. And if we have more than one person right, I think I will do a drawing. You heard it here first. All right, that about does it for us, guys. Grunt, you got anything else?
I do believe we've covered it all.
Yeah, we truly have. I'm going to stop speaking at this point because it's just going to turn into verbal diarrhea. So, all right.
All right.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Just end it right
yeah,
there.
We'll just end it right there. I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
I'll see you guys next time.